everybody should have all their supplies at their desk. Everybody should have one of these little scrap pieces of paper. If you did not grab one while you were getting your stuff, come and get one. Guys, voices off. Alright, so what you guys need to do on this little piece of paper is you need to draw a rectangle along the inside of it. This is going to be your value scale. If you don't have a ruler, just freehanded. It does not have to be perfect. Make sure you put your name on it and your hour, so that way you guys have it. Your board with your drawing on it, I want you to set to the side for now, because we're going to be working with this value scale first. What? Yes, it's going to be based off of your paint. I just stuck my finger in black paint. Now I'm covered in black. Alright. So here's some examples of some value scales that other students have done. Okay, you have to work on your gradient where it's blending from dark to lighter. Okay, you don't want it to look blocky. You want it to have that smooth gradual change, because when you start painting the still life up here, you are going to have to be able to create that. So those of you that have color, you're going to have to take some of your color. So say I'll take some of my orange, I'm going to put it in a new well, and then I'm going to take some of my black and put it in there. I like to use the end of my paintbrush because it's easier to clean off my paintbrush with that second color with just a dry paper towel. Then I can mix that color up, and this could be like my darkest color. Yellows, greens, and oranges usually turn a funky looking color. Oranges are going to be more of a brass color. Yellows and greens are going to be more of a darkish, limeish green color. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my scale, and I want to try to stay in the lines, and as I go I'm going to add just a little bit more orange into that to make it lighter. This is called loading your paintbrush, where you're adding a color onto your paintbrush that already has paint on it. The more orange I add to my paintbrush, the lighter my color is going to get. It's slowly transitioning into a lighter orange. And then eventually I'll want to rinse out my paintbrush so I can get more orange than anything. I know the board looks a little different than what it does in person, It's just the way the light plays. Let me see if I can do this. Up a little bit. So now I've got a clean brush and I'm going to work some just plain orange up into that. And I'm just working my way across. I want it to be a smooth transition. I don't want it to look blocky. One thing with acrylic paint is it dries very fast. So it's always easier to paint over it if you make a mistake. Once I get further down into my lighter area, I can start adding just a little bit of white to it to lighten it up. And then to get rid of this blocky look, I can take a clean paintbrush and kind of feather it out. Because I'm not adding any more paint, I'm just blending it. If you don't like the way your grading scale looks, you can always repaint. It's one nice thing about acrylic paint is you can always go back and paint over it once it's dry. And I'm going to walk around and show you guys this gradient, because it looks a little different than it does on the board. Okay, so I started off really dark, which was my shade. Then I transitioned from tone to tint. Okay. All with just one color in black and white. Okay. That's what you guys are going to have to do. Be careful not to get paint on the table. Since you're not painting on your board right now, if you need to put a paper towel underneath your scale, that. And if you don't have one of these papers, they're up here. I told you to grab one when you grabbed your paper towel in your cup. You guys have about 10 minutes and we'll have to clean up. I want you to try to get part of this value scale done. If you don't finish it, we'll finish it up tomorrow and then we'll transition to our actual painting. Make sure you put your name and hour on this, because we'll put these in the drying rack if we need to, unless you guys can fit them in your cubbies. Like right now, my scale is almost dry and I just painted it. Acrylic paint dries very fast. This paint will keep overnight if you put your lid on it. So this is all we're going to do today, and then we'll move on